At first, there is nothing to see, only darkness. Then the grass moves, something emerges, it stops, it watches, and for a few seconds, nothing happens. Because the coastal taipan doesn't need to be fast all the time. It only needs to be fast once. The silent shape moving through the undergrowth is Oxyuranus scutillatus, formerly known as the coastal taipan. This reptile is a member of the Elapidae family, a lineage of front-fanged venomous snakes that has mastered the art of stealth. Its geographic range is vast, wrapping around the tropical coastal corridors of northern and eastern Australia, while related populations persist across the sea in southern New Guinea. In these environments, the taipan lives a highly concealed, almost invisible existence, staying well hidden within its surroundings. This secretive nature explains a marked behavioral contradiction. Despite its reputation, the animal does not seek conflict. Its overriding instinct is to avoid humans entirely, choosing rapid flight over confrontation whenever possible. But this preference for escape should not be mistaken for vulnerability. When a sudden threat emerges and its path of retreat is blocked, the snake undergoes a sudden behavioral shift. With its escape route severed, the taipan deploys an unusually powerful defensive response, showing why this quiet, evasive predator possesses one of the most formidable defenses in the natural world. It remains a phantom of the dry grass, a specialist that stays out of sight until forced to fight. To operate across these vast environments, the coastal taipan relies on a physical design shaped by its surroundings. On average, an adult measures around 6.6 feet, or approximately 2 meters in length. While exceptional reports occasionally surface of giant individuals approaching 9.8 feet, these massive specimens are rare outliers rather than the typical size of the species. Its physical profile is defined by a striking contrast: a large, deep head that tapers sharply into a remarkably slender neck. This silhouette is wrapped in variable scales. Some taipans wear light shades of yellowish or reddish-brown, while others are draped in dark brown or a deep, almost black hue. Yet, regardless of the body's overall coloration, one distinctive signature remains constant. The head and snout are noticeably paler, almost cream-colored, creating a stark visual break. This color variation is not random. It is an important asset for concealment across a diverse range of habitats. The coastal taipan does not limit itself to untouched wilderness. It is a versatile predator, occupying open woodlands, dry grasslands, tropical environments, and riparian corridors. But it has also learned to exploit human disruption. The snake is frequently drawn to agricultural settings, particularly sugarcane fields and old barns. These human-altered environments offer an artificial abundance of rodent prey. By blending into both the wild and the cultivated, the taipan uses its adaptive coloration to vanish against dry grass, tilled soil, or weathered timber, remaining an invisible shadow. The early morning sun filters through the canopy, warming the forest floor. This is when the taipan is most active, exploiting the hours just after dawn to search for food. When extreme summer temperatures scorch the earth, it adjusts its routine, shifting its activity to the cooler, crepuscular hours of dusk. But during a typical morning, the predator is on the move. It travels with its head raised slightly above the soil, actively scanning the terrain. Unlike many elapids that rely almost entirely on scent to find their way, the taipan possesses exceptional vision. Its large eyes are highly sensitive to the slightest twitch of movement, allowing it to detect potential prey from several meters away. A sudden rustle in the dry leaf litter reveals a wild rodent. The taipan instantly halts, freezing its body into complete stillness while keeping its gaze locked onto the target. For a venomous snake, hunting warm-blooded mammals is a highly dangerous gamble. A large rat is not a passive victim. Equipped with sharp claws and long chisel-like incisors, a struggling rodent can inflict severe lacerations, easily damaging the snake's slender neck or causing lethal infections. Holding on to such an active animal is a liability. The transition from absolute stillness to motion is nearly instantaneous. The taipan lunges forward with incredible acceleration, delivering a rapid strike before immediately pulling back. The entire event takes less than a second. The snake does not attempt to constrict or hold the thrashing animal. It releases the prey immediately, retreating to a safe distance. It doesn't need to overpower its prey. It turns chemistry into distance. The envenomed rodent bolts into the undergrowth, but the lethal payload is already circulating. The taipan waits, allowing the potent toxins to do the dangerous work of subduing the target without any physical retaliation. Once enough time has passed, the search begins. The taipan tracks the fleeing animal's route, its forked tongue repeatedly flicking in and out to gather microscopic odor molecules from the ground and air. With every retraction, the tongue tips transfer these chemical signatures to the Jacobson's organ in the roof of its mouth. This highly specialized sensory structure processes the chemical data, translating it into a precise directional path. The taipan follows this invisible trail through the dense vegetation, eventually arriving at the now immobile prey. Through this perfect integration of vision, speed, and chemical tracking, the predator secures its meal while completely eliminating the risk of self-injury. The physical machinery behind this rapid strike resides in the structure of the skull. Unlike many other Australian elapids, which possess relatively short fixed teeth, this predator is armed with exceptionally long front fangs. These recurved hollow needles measure approximately 12 to 13 millimeters, or 0.47 to 0.51 inches. They are the longest of any venomous snake on the continent. This length is not a mere visual curiosity. It is a practical delivery mechanism, built to guarantee penetration into vital tissue during that single, fleeting moment of contact. Because the strike is so brief, the fangs must pierce the target's muscle instantly, bypassing fur, skin, or thick debris to deposit the lethal payload where it can circulate immediately. But a single bite is not the snake's only option. If the prey resists, or if the taipan is forced into a defensive struggle, the mechanics of its jaw allow for a rapid succession of multiple strikes, hitting the target with incredible speed. Behind these fangs lie large paired venom glands. The quantity of venom stored here varies widely from one individual to another, influenced by the snake's size, health, and age. There is a stark distinction between what is collected during laboratory milkings and the actual amount injected during a single encounter. In the wild, the taipan controls its weapon, injecting only a fraction of its stored reserve to achieve the desired result. The system is built for economy, delivering just enough force to secure its food without wasting its most valuable chemical resource. Once injected beneath the skin, the venom of the coastal taipan begins a silent, systematic dismantling of human physiology. It does not rely on a single mechanism of destruction. Instead, it deploys a dual pathway assault, targeting both the body's electrical communication and its essential liquid balance. The first of these pathways is neurotoxicity. This is a highly targeted interference with nerve signaling. Specifically, the toxins disrupt the critical communication points where nerves connect to muscles. Under normal conditions, these junctions transmit the chemical commands that allow for movement. The taipan's neurotoxins block these receptors, effectively severing the connection. It is the biological equivalent of cutting the electrical wiring in a house. The power generator is still functioning, the switches are flipped, but the current never reaches the lights. In an envenomed patient, this breakdown begins subtly. The smallest, most active muscles are the first to fail. Eyelids begin to droop. The ability to swallow is lost. If left unchecked, this flaccid paralysis moves systematically through the body, eventually reaching the intercostal muscles and the diaphragm. When the signals to these breathing muscles are blocked, respiration stops entirely. While the electrical wiring is failing, the second pathway is systematically destroying the body's plumbing. This is a severe disruption of blood coagulation. Under normal circumstances, the body relies on an emergency repair system to seal damaged blood vessels. When a leak occurs, clotting factors mobilize to form a patch. The taipan's venom contains potent enzymes that mimic the body's natural triggers, initiating a massive, uncontrolled clotting cascade throughout the vascular system. It is an emergency repair mechanism run completely amok. The proteins form millions of microscopic clots inside intact blood vessels, consuming the body's entire reserve of clotting resources. Once this rapid surge has exhausted every available clotting factor, the blood loses its ability to coagulate. The system is drained of its repair materials. Consequently, the patient is left highly vulnerable to internal bleeding as the vessels can no longer repair themselves. In severe envenomations, this dual assault triggers a wider systemic collapse. The cellular structure of the skeletal muscles begins to break down, a process called rhabdomyolysis. As these muscle cells rupture, they release a protein called myoglobin into the bloodstream. The kidneys, tasked with filtering this sudden influx of cellular debris, become overwhelmed and blocked, leading to acute kidney injury. The cardiovascular system, drained of clotting capability and struggling to maintain pressure, can suffer a sudden, catastrophic collapse. In laboratory settings, research indicates that the inland taipan possesses a higher level of venom toxicity. However, the coastal taipan is an exceptionally dangerous animal because of the highly effective combination of its potent venom and its advanced delivery system. The volume of venom injected is not a fixed variable, but even a small amount initiates these highly destructive pathways. A suspected bite from this predator is a profound medical emergency, requiring immediate anti-venom therapy to halt the progression of both the neurological shutdown and the circulatory collapse. In July 1950, a 20-year-old Australian snake collector named Kevin Budden traveled to Cairns with a singular objective: capture a live coastal taipan to aid in venom research. At the time, scientists lacked the fresh samples required to study the species effectively, leaving doctors without any specific treatment for its bite. On July 27th, Budden located a 6-foot specimen coiled inside a rubbish dump. He captured the snake by hand and carried it out of the brush, flagging down a passing truck to transport the live predator into town. But the encounter took a critical turn during the transfer. As Budden attempted to place the taipan into a canvas bag, the snake slipped from his grip, biting him on his left thumb. Even as the rapid onset of neurotoxins began to affect his nervous system, Budden insisted that the snake be kept alive for scientific study. He was rushed to Cairns Base Hospital. Without a targeted therapy, clinical intervention could do little to halt the descending paralysis. Budden died the following day, on July 28, 1950. The captured snake survived. Honoring a promise made to the dying collector, a local transport driver made sure the taipan was secured and flown south from Queensland to Melbourne. On August 1, 1950, the live specimen arrived at the National Museum of Victoria. There, zoologist David Flea performed a controlled milking of the highly defensive snake, securing the first viable samples of fresh, pure taipan venom. This raw material became the foundation for subsequent research. By keeping the snake alive, Budden's work provided scientists with the physical resource needed to analyze the venom's structure. The tragedy initiated a direct path towards scientific discovery, proving how an individual's sacrifice could turn a lethal biological threat into an avenue of medical progress. The raw venom arrived at the Commonwealth Serum Laboratories, initiating a long, focused effort to develop a specialized treatment. Throughout the early 1950s, laboratory teams worked with immunized horses, exposing them to tiny, non-lethal doses of the toxin until their immune systems generated robust antibodies. Rigorous preclinical testing followed, confirming that this refined serum could successfully bind to the venom and neutralize its most destructive capabilities. In 1956, the laboratory officially introduced the first specific Taipan anti-venom to the public. While this therapeutic milestone transformed clinical outcomes, it did not render a bite harmless. Antivenom acts by intercepting active toxins in the bloodstream, but it cannot undo the physical destruction already inflicted on nerves and vital organs. For this reason, a suspected bite remains a critical medical emergency. Managing a patient often demands intensive supportive care, including mechanical ventilation to assist paralyzed lungs, blood product therapy to combat systemic failures, and renal support for failing kidneys during a prolonged hospital stay. Survival begins long before reaching the hospital. Applying immediate pressure immobilization first aid restricts lymphatic flow, trapping the venom near the bite site and delaying its entry into the broader system. Though this combination of rapid first aid and modern clinical care has drastically improved survival rates compared to the pre-antivenom era, a positive outcome is never guaranteed. It isn't a monster. It doesn't need to be. It only needs to be extremely good at being a snake. And that may be exactly what makes the coastal taipan so extraordinary. Every element of this creature's biology operates as a single, highly refined survival system. Sharp vision detects opportunity from afar. Lightning speed secures the briefest contact, while exceptionally long fangs inject a toxic payload deep into muscle tissue. This powerful chemistry buys safety, creating immediate distance from dangerous mammalian prey that can cause lethal injuries. Once the prey collapses, the sensory apparatus takes over, tracking the invisible chemical trail through the soil with precision. If resistance persists, the skull's jaw mechanics allow for rapid, successive strikes. Even the sudden defensive flare when cornered is part of this same protective loop, deploying force only when flight is no longer possible. This cooperative framework represents the true meaning of a perfect predator. No single trait explains its effectiveness. Instead, this coordinated architecture, where every physical asset and behavioral response is linked, ensures survival in a hostile environment. It is a systems-level design, a perfect alignment of sight, speed, and chemistry, where the sum of these adaptations is far deadlier than any individual part. The snake survives not by relying on a single trick, but by coordinating its entire biology. In the quiet of the Australian bush, this flawless survival system continues to slide through the shadows, unseen but absolute. It isn't a monster. It doesn't need to be. It only needs to be extremely good at being a snake. And that may be exactly what makes the coastal taipan so extraordinary.